Alright, hello citizens of the Nigelverse. It's Nigel once again, and welcome back to the Labyrinth. So, oh, oh, we, of course, um, if you missed last week's episode, then go back and check it out. But that was the 100th episode. With 100 poems, both from myself and from other poets. So if you haven't already, go check out that episode. It's a long one, but I hope you guys still enjoy it. And I definitely don't recommend watching that in one sitting. Definitely break it up. Do other stuff, throughout your life. But come back to it every now and again until you finish it, and then, or even if you don't, that's still totally fine. But I do hope you go on to enjoy that. We're gonna take a little break from poetry and delve into another story. So, if you remember, the last story we read was Macbeth. This time and of course the story before that was Romeo and Juliet. So we're gonna continue, at least for now, with the Shakespeare theme, and read perhaps one of Shakespeare's most popular plays, that being Hamlet. Hamlet, it quite a bit goes down. So what goes down? Let's find out what goes down. But of course, a couple things before we begin. For starters, this is courtesy of the Folger Shakespeare Library. This is courtesy of Folger.edu, who the Folger Shakespeare Library. So definitely go check them out. I will definitely be sure to link them in the description. But also, of course, if this is your first episode of Nigel Successful Labyrinth, welcome. If not, welcome back. But if you are new here, we normally do read poetry, but sometimes we delve into stories, as we're gonna do today. Without further ado, I'm excited. I hope you are too. So let's get right into it. So obviously we're going to start off with the actual reading itself, and then we have a synopsis here pretty much summing up what we just read. So we're going to read the main reading first before reading the synopsis. Alright, so and of course there's it will be linked in the description, so if you want to follow along with me, you absolutely can. And also, if you want to follow along with me on screen here, I do have it here on screen alongside myself in the bottom right corner. So, if you want to follow along that way, you can. If you want to read afterwards, that's also totally fine, however you want to do it. But without further ado, enough dilly-dallying, let's get right into it. So, enter Bernardo and Francisco, two sentinels. I imagine they're probably hunting the X-Men. But anyway, so let's get right into it. And of course, because, this is Shakespearean, this is a lot of Old English, there may be a few mispronunciations, so just try your best to bear with me. Who's there? Nay, answer me. Stand and unfold yourself. Long live the king. Bernardo, he. You come most carefully upon your honor, upon your hour. 'Tis now struck 12. Get thee to bed, Francisco. For this relief, much thanks. 'Tis bitter cold, and I am sick at heart. Have you had quiet guard? Not a mouse stirring. Well, good night. If you do meet Horatio and Marcellus, the rivals of my watch, bid them make haste. And enter Horatio and Marcellus. I think I hear them. Stand ho! Who is there? Friends to this ground, and ligament to the Dane. Give you good night. Oh, farewell, honest soldier. Who hath relieved you? But Arnardo hath my place. Give you good night. And Francisco exits. Holla, Barnardo. Excuse me. Holla, Barnardo. Say, what is Horatio there? A piece of him. Welcome, Horatio. Welcome, good Marcellus. What, has this thing appeared again tonight? I have seen nothing. Horatio says 'tis but our fantasy, and will not let belief take hold of him, touching this dreaded sight twice seen of us. Therefore I have entreated him along, with us to watch the minutes of this night, that, if again this apparition come, he may approve our eyes and speak to it. Tush, 'twill not appear. Sit down a while, and let us once again assail your ears, that are so fortified against our story, what we have 2 nights seen. Well, sit we down, and let us hear Bernardo speak of this. Last night of all, when yon same star that's westward from the pole had made his course to illume that part of heaven, where now it burns, Marcellus and myself, the bell then beating one, enter Ghost. Peace! Break thee off! Look where it comes again. in the same figure like the king that's dead. And Marcellus Horatio says, "Thou art a scholar. Speak to it, Horatio. Looks he not like the king? Mark it, Horatio. Most like it. It harrows me with fear and wonder. It would be spoke to. Speak to it, Horatio. What art thou that usurpest this time of the night, together with that fair and warlike form, in which the majesty of buried Denmark did sometimes march? By heaven, I charge thee, speak." It is offended. See, it stalks away. "Stay! Speak! Speak! I charge thee, speak!" And the ghost exits. "'Tis gone and will not answer. How now, Horatio? You tremble and look pale. Is not this something more than fantasy? What think you on it? Before my God, I might not this believe, without the sensible and true avouch of mine own eyes. Is it not like the king? As thou art to thyself. Such was the very armor he had on when he the ambitious Norway combated. So frowned he once when in angry parley he smote the sledded Polex on the ice. 'Tis strange. Thus twice before, and jump at this dead hour, with martial stalk hath he gone by our watch. And what particular thought ought to work, I know not. But in the gross and scope of mine opinion, this bodes some strange eruption to our states. Good now, sit down, and tell me, he hath knows, why this same strict and most observant watch so nightly toils the subject of the land, and why such daily cast of brazen cannon, and foreign march for implements of war, why such impressive shipwrights, whose sore task does not divide the Sunday from the week, what might be toward that this sweaty haste doth make the night join laborer with the day? Who is it that can inform me? That can I. At least the whisper goes so. Our last king, whose image even but now appeared to us, was, as you know, by Fortinbras of Norway, or that might be Fortinbras, by Fortinbras of Norway, thereto who pricked on by a most emulate pride, dared to the combat, in which our valiant Hamlet, for so the side of our known world esteemed him, did slay this Fortinbras, who by a sealed compact, well ratified by law and heraldry, did forfeit, with his life, all those his lands which he stood seized of, to the conqueror. Against the which a moiety combatant was gauged by our king, which had returned to the inheritance of Fortinbras, had he been vanquisher, as, by the same art and carriage of the article designed, his fell to Hamlet. Now, sir, young Fortinbras, of unimproved metal, hot and full, hath in the skirts of Norway, here and there, sharked up a list of lawless resolutes, for food and diet to some enterprise, that hath a stomach in it, which is no other, as it doth well appear unto our states, but to recover of us, by strong hand, and terms compulsatory, those foresaid lands, so by his father lost. And this, I take it, is the main motive of our preparations, the source of this our watch, and the chief head of this post-haste and rummage in the land. I think it be no other, but e'en so. Well may it sort that this portentous figure comes armed through our watch, so like the king, that was and is the question of these wars. A mote it is to trouble the mind's eye, in the most high and palmy state of Rome, a little ere the mightiest Julius fell, the graves stood tenantless, and the sheeted dead did squeak and gibber in the Roman streets, as stars with trains of fire and dews of blood, disasters in the sun, and the moist star, upon whose influence Neptune's empire stands, was sick almost to doomsday with eclipse, and even the like precurse of feared events, as harbingers preceding still the fates, and prologue to the omen coming on, have heaven and earth together demonstrated unto our climatures and countrymen. And enter ghost. But soft, behold, lo, where it comes again. I'll cross it though it blast me. Stay, illusion. It spreads its arms. If thou hast any sound or use of voice, speak to me. If there be any good thing to be done, that may to thee do ease and grace to me, speak to me. If thou art privy to thy country's fate, which happily foreknowing may avoid, oh, speak. Or if thou hast uphoarded in thy life, extorted treasure in the womb of earth, For which, they say, you spirits oft walk in death. Speak of it. And the cock crows. Stay and speak. Stop it, Marcellus. Shall I strike it with my partisan? Do, if it will not stand. 'Tis here. 'Tis here. And the ghost exits. 'Tis gone. We do it wrong, being so majestical, to offer it the show of violence, for it is as the air, invulnerable, and our vein blows malicious mockery. It was about to speak when the cock crew, and then it started like a guilty thing, upon a fearful summons. I have heard the cock, that is the trumpet to the morn, doth with his lofty and shrill-sounding throat awake the god of day, and at his warning, whether in sea or fire, in earth or air, the extravagant and erring spirit hies to his confine, and of the truth herein, this present object made probation. It faded on the crowing of the cock. Some say that ever against that season comes, wherein our Saviour's birth is celebrated. This bird of dawning singeth all night long, and then, they say, no spirit dares stir abroad. The nights are wholesome, then no planets strike, no fairy takes, no witch hath power to charm. So hallowed and so gracious is that time. So I have heard and do in part believe it. But look, the morn in russet mantle clad walks o'er the dew of yon high eastward hill. Break we our watch up, and by my advice, let us impart what we have seen tonight unto young Hamlet. For upon my life, the spirits, dumb to us, will speak to him. Do you consent we shall acquaint him with it, as needful in our loves, fitting our duty? Let's do it, I pray, and I this morning know where we shall find him most convenient. And they exit. So quite a bit happened just in this first scene alone, but the synopsis essentially here is, on the guard's platform in Elsinore, Horatio waits with Bernardo and Marcellus to question a ghost that has twice before appeared. The ghost, in the form of the late King Hamlet of Denmark, appears but will not speak. Horatio decides to tell his fellow student, Prince Hamlet, about the ghost's appearance. You better start believing in ghosts, stories, Horatio. You're in one. And Evelyn, so yeah, the ghost of King Hamlet, it is appearing, and we'll see. Will it appear again? Will it appear in front of his son Prince Hamlet? And is some of this starting to sound a little familiar? Let's find out as we move into scene 2 here. Flourish. Enter Claudius, king of Denmark, Gertrude the queen, the council as Polonius, and his son Laertes, Hamlet with others, among them Voltimand and Cornelius. So, in other words, a whole lot of people. Though yet of Hamlet our dear brother's death, the memory be green, and that had it us befitted, to bear our hearts in grief, and our whole kingdom, to be contracted in one brow of woe. Yet so far hath discretion fought with nature, that we with wisest sorrow think of him, together with remembrance of ourselves. Therefore our sometime sister, now our queen, the imperial jointress to this warlike state, have we, as 'twere with a defeated joy, with an auspicious and a dropping eye, with mirth in funeral and with dirge in marriage, in equal scale what hang delight and dole, taken to wife. Nor hath we herein barred your better wisdoms, which have freely gone with this affair along. For all our thanks. Now follows that you know, young Fortinbras, holding a weak supposal of our worth, or thinking by our late dear brother's death, our state to be disjoint and out of frame, colleagued with this dream of his advantage, he hath not failed to pester us with message, importing the surrender of those lands, lost by his father, which with all bonds of law, to our most valiant brother. So much for him. Now for ourself and for this time of meeting. Thus much the business is. We have here writ to Norway, uncle of young Fortinbras, who, impotent and bedrid, scarcely hears of this his nephew's purpose, to suppress his further gates herein, in that the levies, the lists, and full proportions are all made, out of his subject, and we here dispatch you, good Cornelius, and you, Voltimand, for bearers of this greeting to old Norway, giving to you no further personal power to business with the king more than the scope of these dilated articles allow. and giving them a paper. Farewell, and let you haste commend your duty. And both Cornelius and Vodaman. So when it shows like the slash like this, it means they say it at the same time. In that and all things we will show our duty. We doubt it nothing. Heartily farewell. And Vodaman and Cornelius exits. And now, Laertes, what's the news with you? You tell us of some suit. What is it, Laertes? You cannot speak of reason to the Dane and lose your voice. What wouldst thou beg, Laertes? That shall not be my offer, not thy asking. The head is not more native to the heart. The hand is more instrumental to the mouth. Then is the throne of Denmark thy father. What wouldst thou have, Laertes? My dread lord, your leave and favor to return to France, from whence willingly I came to Denmark, to show my duty in your coronation. Yet now I must confess, that duty done, my thoughts and wishes bend again towards France, and bow them to your gracious leave and pardon. Have you who your father's leave? What say Polonius? Hath, my lord, wrung from me my slow leave, by laborsome petition, and at last, upon his will I sealed my hard consent. I do beseech you, give him leave to go. Take thy fair hour, Laertes. Time be thine, and thy best graces spend it at thy will. But now, my cousin Hamlet and my son, and a little more than kin and less than kind. How is it that the clouds still hang on you? Not so, my lord. I am too much in the sun. And good Hamlet, cast thy nighted color off, and let thine eye look like a friend on Denmark. Do not forever with thy veiled lids seek for thy noble father in the dust. Thou knowest his common. All that lives must die, passing through nature to eternity. Ay, madam, it is common. If it be, why seems it so particular with thee? Seems, madam? Nay, it is. I know not seems. 'Tis not alone my inky cloak, good mother, nor customary suits of solemn black, nor windy suspiration of forced breath, nor the fruitful river in the eye, nor the dejected behavior of the visage, together with all forms, moods, shapes of grief, that can denote me truly. These indeed seem, for they are actions that a man might play. But I have that within which passes show, these but the trappings and the suits of woe. 'Tis sweet and commendable in your nature, Hamlet, to give these mourning duties to your father, but you must know your father lost a father. That father lost his, and the survivor bound, in filial obligation for some term, to do obsequious sorrow, but to persevere in obstinate condolement is a course of impious stubbornness. 'Tis unmanly grief. It shows a will most incorrect to heaven, a heart unfortified, a mind impatient, an understanding simple and unschooled. For what we know must be and is as common as any the most vulgar thing to sense. Why should we in our peevish opposition take it to heart? Fie, 'tis a fault to heaven, a fault against the dead, a fault to nature, to reason most absurd, whose common theme is death of fathers, and who still hath cried, from the first course till he that died today. This must be so. We pray you, throw to earth this unprevailing woe, and think of us as of a father. For let the world take note, you are the most immediate to our throne, and with no less nobility of love than that which dearest father bears his son, do I impart to you. For your intent in going back to school in Wittenberg, it is most retrograde to our desire, and we beseech you, bend you to remain here in the cheer and comfort of our eye, our chiefest courtier, cousin, and our son. And let not thy mothers lose her prayers, Hamlet. I pray thee, stay with us. Go not to Wittenberg. I shall in all my best obey you, madam. Why, 'tis a loving and a fair reply. Be as ourself in Denmark. Madam, come. This gentle and unforced accord of Hamlet sits smiling to my heart, in grace whereof no jocund health that Denmark drinks today, but the great cannon to the clouds shall tell, and the kings rouse the heavens shall brew it again. I think shall brew again. I think it's brewing. And the kings rouse the heaven shall brew again. We're speaking earthly thunder. Come away, flourish, all but Hamlet exit. Oh, that is too sullied flesh would melt. thaw and resolve itself into a dew, or that the everlasting had not fixed. Is ken against self-slaughter. O God, God, how weary, stale, flat, and unprofitable seem to me all the uses of this world. Fie on it, ah fie, 'tis an unweeded garden that grows to seed. Things rank and gross in nature possess it merely, that it should come to this. But 2 months dead, nay, not so much, not two, so excellent a king that was to this, Hyperion to a satyr, so loving to my mother, that he might not beteem the winds of heaven, visit her face too roughly. Heaven and earth, must I remember? Why, she would hang on him, as if increase of appetite had grown, but by what it fed on. And yet, within a month, let me not think on it. Frailty, thy name is woman. A little month, or ere those shoes were old, with which she followed my poor father's body. Like Niobe, all tears. Why she, even she, O God, a beast that wants discourse of reason, would have mourned longer, married with my uncle, my father's brother, but no more like my father than I to Hercules, within a month, ere yet the salt of most unrighteous tears had left the flushing in her galled eyes, she married, O most wicked speed, to post, with such dexterity to incestuous sheets. It is not, nor it cannot come to good, but break my heart, for I must hold my tongue, and enter Horatio, Marcellus, and Bernardo. Hail to you, lordship. I am glad to see you well. Oh, Horatio, or do I forget myself? Oh, or I do forget myself. The same, my lord, and your poor servant enter. Sir, my good friend, I'll change that name with you. And what make you from Wittenberg, Horatio? Marcellus? My good lord, I am very glad to see you, said Bernardo. Good even, sir. But what, in faith, make you from Wittenberg? A truant disposition. Good, my lord. I would not hear your enemy say so, nor shall you do my ear that violence, to make it truster of your own report against yourself. I know you are no truant, but what is your affair in Elsinore? Will teach you to drink deep ere you depart. My lord, I came to see your father's funeral. I prithee, do not mock me, fellow student. I think it was to see my mother's wedding. Indeed, my lord, it followed hard upon. Thrift, Horatio. The funeral baked meats did coldly furnish forth the marriage tables. Would I have met my dearest foe in heaven, or ever had I seen that day, Horatio? My father, methinks I see my father. Where, my lord? In my mind's eye, Horatio. I saw him once. He was a goodly king. He was a man. Take him for all in all. I shall not look upon his like again. My lord, I think I saw him yesternight. Saw who? My lord, the king, your father. The king, my father? Seizing your admiration for a while, with an attent ear, till I may deliver, upon the witness of these gentlemen, this marvel to you. For God's love, let me hear. 2 nights together had these gentlemen, Marcellus and Bernardo, on their watch, in the dead waste and middle of the night, been thus encountered. A figure like your father, armed at point exactly, capapi, appears before them, and with solemn march goes slowly and stately by them. Thrice he walked, by their oppressed and fear-surprised eyes, within his truncheon's length, whilst they, distilled, almost to jelly with the act of fear, stand dumb and speak not to him. This to me, in dreadful secrecy, impart they did. And I with them, the 3rd night, kept the watch, whereas they had delivered, both in time, form of the thing, each word made true and good. The apparition comes. I knew your father. These hands are not more like. But where was this? My lord, upon the platform where we watch. Did you not speak to it? My lord, I did, but answer made it none. Yet once, methought, it lifted up its head and did address itself to motion, like as it would speak. But even then the morning cock crew loud, and at the sound it shrunk it haste away, and vanished from our sight. 'Tis very strange. As I do live, my honored lord, 'tis true, and we did think it writ down in our duty, to let you know of it. Indeed, sirs, but this troubles me. Hold you the watch tonight? We do, my lord. Armed, say you? Armed, my lord. From top to toe? My lord, from head to foot. Then saw you not his face? Oh, yes, my lord. He wore his beaver up. What, looked he frowningly? A countenance more in sorrow than in anger. Pale or red? Nay, very pale. And fixed his eyes upon you? Most constantly. I would I had been there. It would have much amazed you. Very like. Stayed it long? While one with moderate haste might tell 100. It longer, longer. Not when I saw it. His beard was grizzled, no? It was as I have seen it in his life, a sable hill slivered. I will watch it tonight. Perchance 'twill walk again. I warrant it will. If it assume my noble father's person, I'll speak to it, though hell itself should gape, and bid me hold my peace. I pray you all, if you have hitherto concealed this sight, let it be tenable in your silence still, and whatsoever else shall hap tonight, give it an understanding but no tongue. I will requite your loves, so fare you well. Upon the platform, twixt 11 and 12, I'll visit you. Our duty to your honor. Your loves, as mine to you, farewell. All but Hamlet exits. My father's spirit, in arms, all is not well. I doubt some foul play. Would the night were come. Till then, sit still, my soul. Foul deeds will rise, though all the earth overwhelm them to men's eyes. And he exits. So the synopsis here, and again, and even more so than the first scene, definitely a lot going down in this scene. So essentially, the synopsis here is that first I'm gonna take a sip of water real quick. In an audience chamber in Elsinore, Claudius, the new king of Denmark, holds court. After thanking his courtiers for their recent support, he dispatches ambassadors to Norway to halt a threatened attack from Fortinbras. He gives Laertes permission to return to France, but denies Hamlet's request to return to the university in Wittenberg. Hamlet, mourning for his father's death, is left alone to vent his despair at what he regards as his mother's all-too-hasty marriage to his uncle, Claudius. The audience learns that the marriage took place within a month of the former king's death. Horatio, Barnardo, and Marcellus arrive and tell Hamlet about the ghost. Hamlet makes plans to join them that night. Yeah, so essentially, almost everyone has moved on except for Hamlet and his friends. More so, not necessarily everyone, but at least Claudius and his new wife, aka Hamlet's mother. And she's like, "Hey, your father, you're sad about that? Forget him marrying this new guy. Your father, he's dead, and forget about him. This new guy, his brother, King Claudius, he's king now and everything." So, she was really quick to move on. I don't know if that will come up again in this play, but we will find out. But Hamlet also then gets word that a ghost has been seen. The ghost essentially looking like his father. So Hamlet's asking questions like, "Oh shoot," and so Hamlet's going to check it out. So what will happen when he checks it out? Let's find out as we move into scene 3. So enter Laertes and Ophelia, his sister. My necessaries are embarked, for farewell, and sister, as the winds give benefit, and convey his assistance, do not sleep, but let me hear from you. Do you doubt that? For Hamlet, and the trifling of his favor, hold it a fashion and a toy in blood, a violent in the youth of primy nature, forward, not permanent, sweet, not lasting, the perfume and suppliance of a minute, no more, but so? Think it no more, for nature, crescent, does not grow alone, enthuse in bulk, but, as this temple waxes, the inward service of the mind and soul grows wide withal. Perhaps he loves you now, and now no soil nor counsel doth besmirch the virtue of his will, but you must fear his greatness weighed. His will is not his own, for he himself is subject to his birth. He may not, as unvalued persons do, carve for himself, for on his choice depends the safety and the health of this whole state, and therefore must his choice be circumscribed unto the voice and yielding of that body, whereof he is the head. Then, if he says he loves of you, it fits your wisdom so far to believe it, as he in his particular act and place may give his saying deed, which is no further than the main voice of Denmark goes withal. Then weigh what loss your honor may sustain, if with too credent ear you list his songs, or lose your heart or your chaste treasure open to his unmastered importunity. Fear it, Ophelia, fear it, my dear sister, and keep you in the rear of your affection, and out of the shot and danger of desire. The cherished maid is prodigal enough. If she unmasks her beauty to the moon, virtue itself escapes not columinous hooks, the canker galls, the infants of the spring, too oft before their buttons be disclosed, and in the morning liquid dew of youth. Contagious blasphemous are most imminent. Be wary then, best safety lies in fear. Youth to itself rebels, though none else near. I shall the effect of this good lesson keep, as watchman to my heart. But, good my brother, do not, as some ungracious pastors do, show me the steep and thorny way to heaven, whiles, like a puffed and reckless libertine, himself the primrose path of dalliance treads, and recks not his own reed. Oh, fear me not, and enter Polonius. I stay too long, but here my father comes. A double blessing is a double grace. Occasion smiles upon a second leave. Yet here are trees aboard, for shame. The wind sits in the shoulder of your sail, and you are stayed for. There, my blessing with thee, in these few precepts in thy memory. Look thou character. Give thy thoughts no tongue, nor any unproportioned through this thought his act, nor any unproportioned thought his act. Be thou familiar, but by no means vulgar. Those friends thou hast, and their adoption tried, grapple them unto thy soul with hoops of steel. But do not dull thy palm with entertainment of each new hatched, unfledged courage. Beware of entrance to a quarrel, but, being in, buried at oppose may beware of thee. Give every man thy ear, but few thy voice. Take each man's censure, but reserve thy judgment. Costly thy habit as thy purse can buy, but not expressed in fancy, rich not gaudy. For the apparel oft proclaims the man, and they and friends of the best rank and station are of a most selected and generous chief in that neither a borrower nor a lender be he. For a loan oft loses both itself and friend, and borrowing dulls the edge of husbandry. This above all, to thine own self be true, and it must follow, as the night the day. Thou canst not then be false to any man. Farewell, my blessing seasons this in thee. Most humbly do I take my leave, my lord. The time invests you. Go, your servants tend. And farewell, Ophelia, and remember well what I have said to you. 'Tis in my memory locked, and you yourself shall keep the key of it. Farewell, and Laertes exits. Was, Ophelia, he hath said to you, so please you, something touched the Lord Hamlet. Marry, well bethought, 'tis told me he hath very oft of late given private time to you, and you yourself have of your audience been most free and bounteous. If it be so, as so 'tis put on me, and that in way of caution, I must tell you, you do not understand yourself so clearly, as it behooves my daughter and your honor. What is between you? Give me up the truth. He hath, my lord, of late made many tenders of his affection to me. Affection? Puh! You speak like a green girl, unsifted in such perilous circumstance. Do you believe his tenders, as you call them? I do not know, my lord, what I should think. Marry, I will teach you. Think yourself a baby, that you have ta'en these tenders for true pay, which are not sterling. Tender yourself more dearly, or, not to crack the wind of the poor phrase, running it thus, you'll tender me a fool. My lord, he hath importuned me with love in honorable fashion. Ay, fashion may call it. Go to, and hath given countenance to a speech, my lord, with almost all the holy vows of heaven. Ay, springes to catch woodcocks. I do know, when the blood burns, how prodigal the soul lends the tongue vows. These blazes, daughter, giving more light than heat, extinct in both, even in their promise as it is a making. You must not take for fire. From this time, be something scanter of her maiden presence. Send your entreatment at a higher rate than a command to parley. For Lord Hamlet believes so much in him that he is young, and with a larger tether may he walk, that and may be given to you. In few, Ophelia, do not believe his vows, for they are brokers. There's not of that dye in which their investments show, but mere implorators of unholy suits, with breathing like sanctified and pious bawds. The better to beguile, this for all, I will not, in plain terms, from this time forth, have you so slander any moment leisure, as to give words or talk with the Lord Hamlet. Look to it, I charge you. Come your ways. I shall obey, my lord. And they exit. So essentially the synopsis here is that is that in Polonius's chambers, Laertes says goodbye to his sister Ophelia and tells her not to trust Hamlet's promises of love. Polonius joins them, sends Laertes off, then echoes Laertes' warnings to Ophelia, finally ordering her not to see Hamlet again. So I guess Hamlet and Ophelia's trying to Hamlet's trying to with Ophelia, but essentially being warned her and others by both her brother and her father, like, nah, he ain't, like, nah, he a player, he's stringing you along, he don't actually mean it. So what implications will this have for later, and will this come back around? We will find out as the story goes. But for now, let's move into scene 4. Enter Hamlet, Horatio, and Marcellus. The air bites shrewdly, is very cold. It is a nipping and eager air. What hour now? I think it lacks of 12. No, it is struck. Indeed, I heard it not. It then draws near the season, wherein the spirit held its wont to walk. A flourish of trumpets and 2 pieces go off. What does this mean, my lord? The king doth wake tonight, and takes his rouse. Keeps wassail, and swaggering upspring reels. Let me try it again. Keeps wassail, and swaggering upspring reels, and as he drains his daughters of Rhenish drown, the kettle drum and trumpet thus bray out the triumph of his pledge. Is a custom? Aye, marry is it. But to my mind, though I am native here, and to the manner born, is a custom. We're honored in the breach and the observance. This heavy-headed rebel, east and west, made us traduced and taxed of other nations. They clepe us drunkards, and with swinish face soil our addition. And indeed it takes, from our achievements, though performed at height, the pith and marrow of our attributes. So oft it chances in particular men, that for some vicious mole of nature in them, as in their birth, wherein they are not guilty, since nature cannot choose his origin, by the overgrowth of some complexion, oft breaking down the pales and forts of reason, or by some habit that too much or leavens the form of plausive manners, that these men, carrying, I say, the stamp of one defect, being nature's livery or fortune's star, his virtues else, be they as pure as grace, as infinite as man may undergo, shall in the general censure they take to corruption. From that particular fault, the dram of evil doth all the noble substance of a doubt to his own scandal. Enter Ghost. Look, my lord, it comes. Angels and ministers of grace, defend us. Be thou a spirit of health or goblin damned. Bring with thee airs from heaven or blast from hell. Be thy intents wicked or charitable. Thou comest in such a questionable shape that I will speak to thee. I'll call thee Hamlet, king, father, royal Dane. Oh, answer me. Let me not burst in ignorance, but tell why thy canonized bones hearsed in death. I think it might be Hearst. Why thy canonized bones, hearsed in death, have burst their cerements with thy sepulchre, wherein we saw thee quietly interred, hath oped his ponderous and marble jaws, to cast thee up again. What may this mean, that thou, dead corse, again in complete steel, revisitest thus the glimpses of the moon, making night hideous, and we fools of nature, so horribly to shake our disposition, with thoughts beyond the reaches of our souls? Say, why is this? Wherefore? What should we do? And the ghost beckons. It beckons you to go away with it, as if some impartment did desire to you alone. Look with what courteous action it waves you to a more removed ground, but do not go with it. No, by no means. It will not speak, then I will follow it. Do not, my lord. Why? What should be the fear? I do not set my life at a pin's fee, and for my soul, what can it do to that? Being a thing immortal as itself, it waves me forth again. I'll follow it. What if it tempt you toward the flood, my lord, or to the dreadful summit of the cliff, that at beetles o'er his base into the sea, and there assume some other horrible form, which might deprive your sovereignty of reason, and draw you into madness? Think of it, the very place put toys of desperation, without more motive, into every brain that looks so many fathoms to the sea, and hears it roar beneath. It waves me still. Go on, I'll follow thee. You shall not go, my lord. They hold back Hamlet. Hold off your hands. Be ruled. You shall not go. My fate cries out, and makes each petty archer in this body as hardy as the heman's lion's nerve. Still I am called. Unhand me, gentlemen. By heaven, I'll make a ghost of him that lets me. I say away. Go on. I'll follow thee. And the ghost of Hamlet exit. He waxes desperate with imagination. Let's follow. 'Tis not fit thus to obey him. And have after. To what issue will this come? Something is rotten in the state of Denmark. Heaven will direct it. Nay, let's follow him. And they exit. So, the synopsis here is, while Claudius drinks away the night, Hamlet, Horatio, and Marcellus are visited by the ghost. It signals to Hamlet. Hamlet's friends try to stop his following the ghost, but Hamlet will not be held back. That's an understatement. So, of course, Ghost appears just as they predicted. The Ghost appears. Hamlet gets a good look at it. The Ghost wants Hamlet to follow him to talk with it. And Hamlet's friends say, "Hey, don't follow the Ghost." And Hamlet says, "You know what? You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna follow the Ghost." So Hamlet, they literally tried to physically stop him, but Hamlet's like, "No, bro, get off me. I'm gonna follow the Ghost. I'm gonna see what it wants. It might be important." And it may be important. And what does the Ghost have to say to Hamlet? Let's find out as we move here into scene 5. Move into scene 5 here. Enter Ghost and Hamlet. It won't center, so I'll just leave it there. Enter Ghost and Hamlet. Whither wilt thou lead me? Speak, I'll go not further. Mark me, I will. My hour is almost come, when I to sulphurous and tormenting flames must render up myself. Alas, poor Ghost, pity me not, but lend thy serious hearing to what I shall unfold. Speak, I am bound to hear. So art thou to revenge when thou shalt hear. What? I am thy father's spirit, doomed for a certain term to walk the night, and for the day confined to fast and fires, till the foul crimes done in my days of nature are burnt and purged away. But that I am forbid, to tell the secrets of my prison house. I could a tale unfold, whose lightest word would harrow up thy soul, freeze thy young blood, make thy 2 eyes, like stars, start from their spheres, thy knotted and combined locks depart, in each particular hair to stand an end, like quills upon the fearful porpentine. But this eternal blazon must not be, to ears of flesh and blood. List, list, oh list, if thou didst ever thy dear father love. O God, revenge his foul and most unnatural murder. Murder? Murder most foul, as in the best it is, but this most foul, strange, and unnatural. Haste me to know it, that I, with wings as swift as meditation or the thoughts of love, may heap to my revenge. I find thee apt, and duller shouldst thou be than the fat weed that roots itself in ease on Lethe wharf. Wouldst thou not stir in this? Now, Hamlet, here, 'tis given out that, sleeping in my orchard, a serpent stung me, so the whole of ear of Denmark is by a forged process of my death, rankly abused. But no, thou noble youth, the serpent that didst hang thy father's life, now wears his crown. Oh, my prophetic soul, my uncle, I, that incestuous, that adulterate beast, is with witchcraft of his wits, with traitorous gifts, wicked wit and gifts, if that had half the power, so to seduce, one to a shameful lust, the will of my most seeming virtuous queen. Hamlet, what a falling off was there for me, whose love was of that dignity, that it went hand in hand even with the vow I made to her in marriage, and to decline upon a wretched whose natural gifts were poor to those of mine. What had virtue, as it never will be moved, thou lewdness hoarded in a shape of heaven, so lust thou to a radiant angel linked, will sate itself in a celestial bed, and prey on garbage. But soft, methinks, I scent the morning air. Brief let me be, sleeping in my orchard, my custom always of the afternoon. Upon my secure hour thy uncle stole, with juice of cursed Urbonia in a vial, and in the porches of my ears did pour the leprous distilment, whose effects hold such an enmity with blood of man, that swift as quicksilver it courses through the natural gates and alleys of the body, and with a sudden vigor it doth possess. With southern vigor it doth possess, and curd, like eager droppings into milk, the thin and wholesome blood, so did it mine, and a most instant heater barked about, most laser-like, with vile and loathsome crust, all my smooth body. Thus was I, sleeping by a brother's hand, of life, of crown, of queen at once dispatched, cut off even in the blossoms of my sin, unhouselled, disappointed, unhailed, no reckoning made, but sent to my account, with all my imperfections on my head. O horrible, O horrible, most horrible! If thou hast nature in thee, bear it not. Let not the royal bed of Denmark be a couch for luxury and damned incest. But howsomever thou pursues this act, taint not thy mind, nor let thy soul contrive against thy mother aught. Leave her to heaven, and to those thorns that in her bosom lodge, to prick and sting her. Fare thee well at once, since the glowworm show the matin to be near, and gins to pale as ineffectual fire. Adieu, adieu, adieu. Remember me. He exits. O all you host of heaven! O earth, what else? And shall I couple hell? O fie! Hold, hold my heart, and you, my sinews, grow not instant old, but bear me stiffly up. Remember thee? I, thou poor ghost, while hell's memory holds a seat in this distracted globe. Remember thee? Yea, from the table of my memory, I'll wipe away all trivial, fond records, all saws of books, all forms, all pressures past, that youth and observation copied there, and thy commandment all alone shall live, within the book and volume of my brain, unmixed with baser matter. Yes, by heaven, O most pernicious woman, O villain, villain, smiling, damned villain, my tables, meet it is I set it down, that one may smile and be a villain. At least I am sure it may be so in Denmark. And he writes, So, uncle, there you are. Now's my word. Is adieu, adieu, remember me. I have sworn it. Enter Horatio and Marcellus. My lord, Lord Hamlet, heaven secure him. So be it. Ill ho, 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 my lord. Hill ho, ho, boy. Come, bird, come. How is it, my noble lord? What news, my lord? Oh, wonderful. Good my lord, tell it. No, you will reveal it. Not I, my lord, by heaven, nor I, my lord. How say you, then? Would heart of man once think it, but you'll be secret? I, by heaven, my lord. There's never a villain dwelling in all Denmark, but he's an arrant knave. There needs no ghost, my lord, come from the grave to tell us this. Why, right you are in the right. And so, without more circumstance at all, I hold it fit that we shake hands and part. You, as your business and desire shall point you, for every man hath business and desire, such as it is. And for my own poor part, I will go pray. These are but wild and whirling herds, my lord. I am sorry they offend you heartily. Yes, faith, heartily. There's no offense, my lord. Yes, by St. Patrick, but there is, Horatio, and much offense too, touching this vision here. It is an honest ghost that had let me tell you, for your desire to know what is between us o'ermaster as you may. And now, good friends, as you are friends, scholars and soldiers, give me one poor request. What is it, my lord? We will. Never make known what you have seen tonight. My lord, we will not. Nay, but swear it. In faith, my lord, not I. Nor I, my lord, in faith. Upon my sword. We have sworn, my lord, already. Indeed, upon the sword. Indeed. And I'm sorry. From other the stage, the ghost cries, "Swear!" Ha ha, boy, sayest thou so? Art thou there, true Hoopenny? Come on, you hear this fellow in the cellarage. Consent to swear. Propose the oath, my lord, never to speak of this that you have seen. Swear by my sword. Swear. Hic etubic, then he'll shift our ground. Come hither, gentlemen, and lay your hands again upon my sword. Swear by my sword, never to speak of this that you have heard. Swear by his sword. Well said, old mold. Canst work hide the earth so fast. A worthy pioneer. Once more removed, good friends. Oh, day and night, but this is wondrous strange. and therefore, or a stranger give it welcome. There are more things in heaven and earth, Horatio, than are dreamt of in your philosophy. But come, here as before, never, so help you mercy, how strange or odd some'er I bear myself, as I perchance hereafter shall think me to put an antic disposition on, that you, at such time seeing me, never shall, with arms encumbered thus, or this handshake, or by pronouncing of some doubtful phrase, as well, well, we know, or we could, and if we would, or if we list to speak, or there be, and if they might, or such ambiguous giving out, to note that you know aught of me. This do swear, so grace and mercy at your most help you. Swear. Rest, perturbed spirit. So, gentlemen, with all my love, I do commend me to you, and what so poor a man is as Hamlet is, may do to express his love and friending to you. God willing, shall not lack. Let us go in together. Let us go in together, and still your fingers on your lips, I pray. That time is out of joint. Oh, cursed spite, that ever I was born to set it right. Nay, come, let's go together. And they exit. So the synopsis here is that the ghost tells Hamlet a tale of horror, saying that he's the spirit of Hamlet's father. He demands that Hamlet avenge King Hamlet's murder at the hands of Claudius. Hamlet, horrified, vows to remember and swears his friends to secrecy about what they have seen. It was funny. The ghost just on the stage like, "Hey, swear it! Swear you better swear up there. Here, swear it. You said swear it. Swear it." From this day, I don't know why that made me giggle, but yeah. So the spirit is indeed Hamlet's father, and I imagine within the story bubble, the ghost is supposed to be saying that from the underworld. But so the ghost is indeed Hamlet's father, and tells him pretty much what happened, that he was killed by King Duncan. Not King Duncan, that was from Macbeth. King Claudius, that is. And Hamlet's like, I knew it. I knew something was up. And so now this confirms it. So Hamlet and his uncle are essentially enemies. And the ghost says has to avenge his death, and Hamlet says he will. So how will Hamlet avenge his death? Will Hamlet avenge his death? We're gonna find out next time. But in the meantime, thank you all so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed. So far off to an interesting start for this play, but if you did enjoy, please do me a favor, like, comment, subscribe, share with your friends, turn on post notifications so you know every time I upload a video so you can see as it drops. Let me know in the comments below if you're excited so far from what we've read here in Act 1 and your thoughts on Act 1, and are you excited to see where Hamlet goes from here? But thank you all so much for watching. I'll see you guys later. Peace.